Welcome to Plant Medicine Transmissions with Javier Regueiro. In this episode of Plant Medicine Transmissions, I would like to explore a little bit more deeply what my idea, what my concept around healing really is. Healing for me is not a set of esoteric, arcane methods whereby if I walk up to the top of this mountain at this particular hour and perform an intricate ritual, I will be healed and relieved of my own suffering. Healing for me is simply joining what has been disconnected, is embracing whatever we may have disowned or rejected about our own selves and about our own experience. This brings us to the concept of the shadow, a concept that was first brought to our attention by Carl Gustav Jung in the realm of psychology and psychoanalysis. The shadow is just that, anything that we relegate to our own subconscious and unconscious because there is a judgment. There's a negative judgment against these aspects of ourselves, including experiences, traumas, and embarrassing situations. As good-willing Westerners, we have come up with a million different ways, so to speak, healing modalities in order to manage our shadow, to fix it somehow, so that we wouldn't have to deal with it ever again. In my own healing journey, trying this and that, I have found that the best way to deal with my own shadow was actually to embrace it, to finally open that door where I had kept my shadow hidden from myself and others. To embrace our own shadow, aspects of ourselves that we may have rejected in the past for whatever reason, is not that easy. In order to be able to open that door once again, it's indispensable, as far as I'm concerned, to actually integrate those negative judgments that relegated those aspects of ourselves into shadow. We create our own shadow by not honoring those aspects of ourselves. I have found ayahuasca and San Pedro most helpful in that regard, by temporarily weakening the conscious mind with its repressive, or in the case of important traumas, defensive mechanisms that prevent us from actually accessing, embracing our own shadow once again. By embracing my own shadow and finally feeling those emotions, aspects of myself, experiences that in the past I decided were too overwhelming or too painful to experience, I could finally integrate them. For me, the healing process is not about trying to tinker with our own consciousness or personality. It's not about trying to fix ourselves. It's simply a process of integration. Ultimately, that integration is simply caused by welcoming back that which we have rejected. By welcoming back those resisted aspects of ourselves and experiences, we become truly whole. We heal in ways that I have found long-lasting and effective. As far as I'm concerned, we come here to this planet in these bodies, most importantly, to heal and to learn. For me, the healing and the wisdom spiritual path are not separate. They are simply two aspects of the same journey. To heal our wounds is to finally be able to let go of the lies that we have been telling ourselves. And when we let go of those lies, then we can receive the truth of who we are, of the universal truths. So for me, an important aspect of healing is also learning. As far as I'm concerned, a healing process can be said to be completed only when we receive the beautiful lessons that those painful experiences, those shadow aspects of ourselves were truly meant to teach us. The lessons we come here to learn or to remember are always very, very beautiful. We come here to remember who we really, really are, above and beyond our physical appearances and personal predicaments. Ironically, those beautiful and incredibly valuable lessons are always packaged in a lot of pain, in a lot of suffering. So the healing process is really about having the courage to step into that fire that burns and that hurts, that at some point we have decided not to walk into, not to experience. And if we jump into that fire and stay in that fire long enough, patiently and humbly, until the fire dies down, when the embers finally grow cold, in the ashes of that fire, we are going to find jewels, those insights, those truths that we have been looking for all around the world throughout lifetimes. Once we have finally learned those lessons, remembered on a deep, deep level, then the letting go of that painful package happens very effortlessly. There is no need to perform any strange healing. We can simply let go of that package because we are in a place of gratitude. We are grateful for the experience that in the past we may have rejected, that we had judged as unbearable, as painful. With gratitude, I witness occasionally some very forceful letting go on the part of my clients, which hides an element of resistance, an element of impatience on their part. Unfortunately, impatience is always a sign of resistance, and once again, what we resist persists. It is all too human that we may wish to speed up the healing process, to speed up our learning process. It is all very human to look for people who claim they will be able to heal us through this or that ritual or process. However, our healing is a very personal process. I deeply believe that only we can heal ourselves. And therefore, in those moments of impatience, of forcefulness, I invite my clients to just take a break, to relax, and to trust that their healing process is happening. I am not unfamiliar with those moments of impatience and frustration and trying every trick in my bag to be done with my own process. Unfortunately, patience and humility have always been the best helpers in this process. There have been some wounds that have taken me lifetimes to heal. And in this very lifetime, even, years of exploration, of contemplation, countless ceremonies, endless vomiting, tears, confusion. But in the moment of true healing, I could only feel utmost gratitude to myself for my own perseverance and my own patience, and utmost gratitude for those experiences that in the past I had deemed unbearable, and utmost gratitude to everything and everybody who had supported me along that healing process. When we are finally on the other side of that process, when we finally find those jewels inside our own deepest wounds and sufferings, my line to myself is always invariably, it was worth the price of admission. From the point of view of the ego, of our bodily experience, this planet is often challenging. However, from the point of view of the soul, to me this planet is the perfect place for us to come and heal those things that we came here to heal. It definitely offers everything, not only the circumstances that reawaken old soul wounds, but also offers us all the tools and all the support for the healing that we seek. I personally hold that same attitude of embracing towards my own ego, towards my own little self. I don't seek to kill my ego. I do believe there's enough killing going on this planet as it is. So when I speak of the ego, there is no judgment about it. There is no desire to transform it, transmute it, sublimate it. I have embraced, and I keep doing my best to embrace and to honor that part of myself, just like all other aspects of myself, without, in the case of the ego, identifying with it, believing that the voices inside my head are all of me, but rather they're just an aspect of me, an aspect that I find most useful. If I did not have some kind of ego left, I would not be recording these podcasts. I may not even get out of bed in the morning. So I appreciate this part of myself as much as possible. At times, I marvel at its idiosyncrasies. For me, the ego is like a small child, a very scared child. And even though I'm not a parent, I know that the best way to be with a scared child is not by getting angry at him, chastising him, telling him it's not good to be scared or to be angry or to be whatever, but rather to be in a loving relationship with this part of myself. And whenever this part of myself wants to take center stage, I let it be for a little while. And then, after honoring that desire, I put it back into its own place on the side of the stage where it truly belongs. In my own attitude towards myself, I have been supported, I've learned much from the medicine of San Pedro. The San Pedro medicine has helped me open my heart, and most importantly, open my heart towards all aspects of myself that in the past I may have rejected or judged. Letting go of those judgments, opening my heart to myself, has allowed these resisted aspects of myself to become integrated, to become truly a part of myself. That integration meant that instead of walking on this planet, or rather stumbling on just one leg with great difficulty and oftentimes missing the mark, I can now much more easily walk on both of my legs, the good one and the one that in the past I had deemed as not good enough. Letting go of that judgment has allowed me to see how both of my legs are equally important and beautiful and valuable. Actually, in my own shadow, I have been able to find the most powerful, beautiful aspects of myself. In our shadows lies our greatest power and brightest light. And in our most painful wounds, I believe, are hidden the seeds of true awakening. Blessings.